9. Time to talk with the man from publicaddress.net, the hard news blog there, Medi7 Show TVNZ7. It's opinions from Russell Brown. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning.
First up, we're looking at the ISP Upstart FYX, or FYX, that came out last week with something called Global Mode, enabling people to watch content from overseas, but they've quickly withdrawn that particular product, Russell.
After 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting because, to reiterate, Global Mode basically allows you to defeat region blocking. And so it means you can watch things like Netflix and BBC iPlayer, anything that is limited to certain geographical territories, you can watch. And there are already more sophisticated internet users using third-party services overseas that do the same thing, but having it baked into an ISP did sound like a game changer.
Yeah, it certainly did. It took the whole geekery out of the process of doing that.
You just connect, and you can get what you want. The whole world of film and television.
So people are wondering whether or not they came under some kind of pressure from either an industry lobbying body or lawyers or who.
Well, yeah, and first Sky said no, not us. Then TVNZ said no, not us. The best guess is that it actually was the offshore rights holders, or one of them, and who knows, probably a production company, possibly HBO, but HBO, you can't watch HBO on any of those streaming services overseas. No, true. That's the point, actually. You certainly can't watch Game of Thrones, can you?
No.
And HBO is famously holding off because that model doesn't work for them.
They have HBO Go, but you need a cable subscription in the States for that.
Yeah, exactly. And we're unlikely to see something like that here with the way it's been set up with Sky, unfortunately. So a rights holder but not HBO is everyone's best guess. The irony is that on launch, FYX had said, yeah, we're completely sure of our legal advice. This is a legal service. And NBR ran some legal opinions saying, yeah, it probably is. For the same reason that you can parallel imports under New Zealand copyright law, and that you can have a region-free DVD player. Our law has long held, right since it was amended in the late 90s. The discussion began. Our law holds that access controls, like region blocking, don't fall under the ambit of the copyright.
But as you noted in the blog, over at the Conversation on Australia, a website over there, they were saying that, well, yeah, sure, but this might be up to the courts to decide.
Absolutely. As with any kind of legal question like this, when it comes up for the first time, no one knows until a court decides it.
And do you think that FYX looked at that potential possibility and went, oh, we really don't want to get involved with this?
No, because they must have thought of that, because their legal advice would have told them that as well. I presume that there was some sort of communication from a rights holder. That's everyone's best guess. It wasn't someone local, and it wasn't Sky. So for once, something's not Sky's fault. But it is interesting because of the utterly unregulated state of our broadcast market. I think people actually have a case for saying, well, we're not going to get this stuff in any other reasonable way.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty clear now what Sky's tactic is, and it's often to popularise certain cult shows on free-to-air television, and now they've bundled them all up into Soho, which costs money on top of your Sky subscription.
Yeah.
You very, very easily end up spending $100 a month with Sky.
Whereas people only want perhaps Soho and don't want all the other stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, exactly. And they may only want a couple of shows on Soho. And in other countries, you have options, particularly in the US. You've got many options for getting programs. Even in Britain. And it's interesting the way things are done in Britain, and maybe it would be a good idea here, although I don't hold any hope. There is a regulated wholesale market, and B-Sky-B is obliged to unbundle some of its content. Because the state of things at the moment is very much like telecom was in the 1990s. Sky is able to, because it holds all the cards and because it's allowed to present these kinds of agreements, basically dictate what can be offered in the market and at what price, which is pretty much the definition of anti-competitive behaviour.
Exactly.
I think people have a case here, but FYX burned brightly but briefly.
Very briefly indeed. What about more on the Urewera 4, this time from the media show Native Affairs?
Yeah, it was a privilege to be involved with this thing on Monday night, actually. I think those guys at Native Affairs, they structured the show really well. We had the 4 defendants who are sentenced next week. We had Greg O'Connor, and then it was Matt McCartan, Annette Sykes, Stephen Franks, and myself to close. And I thought it worked really well. It was pacey, it was illuminating, and it was just very, very good current affairs. And I'm told I did all right, so I'm glad I did.
That's good.
Because I have to say though, one of the more interesting things was arriving there and being obliged to sit in the green room and chat with people who I have in some cases quite strongly criticised.
Yeah. How was that?
It was good, actually.
Yeah.
And I think if you say things about people, you should be prepared to face up to them.
Yeah.
I know Chris Trotter's copped a bit of criticism for his unwillingness to do so.
Yeah.
And he explained online that he knows an ambush when he sees one, which I think is a silly attitude. Look, if you're prepared to say it, turn up and say it. I was struck by how much I warmed to Whiri Kimera, who is the guy who bought all the guns and seems to have done quite a lot of the encouraging, particularly of younger people, to get involved with whatever they were doing, and it's still not clear. He struck me as quite a gentle and intelligent man. And, one of his mates pointed out to me that he hasn't worked for 5 years because as soon as he applies for a job, they Google his name and go, "Oh, you're a terrorist."
Yeah.
And I hope that they don't get custodial sentences, although it seems likely that a couple of them may. And I hope that he can eventually make a contribution again, because before all this went down, he was involved with the Maori Internet Society. He did quite useful things. So I was quite struck by him. Tana Iti was tense on and off screen. Greg O'Connor briefly appeared in the green room and then didn't want to have much to do with anyone else.
Yeah, bet.
So, it was actually pretty interesting for me off screen as well. But you can still go to the Maori Television website and watch that show, and if you have some time, I would recommend doing so. It was very good.
Okay, cool. And finally, Rebekah Brooks has been charged with perverting the course of justice.
Yes, yeah, and this comes on top of her appearance at the Leveson inquiry. It was last Friday night our time. I actually ended up last Friday night with a glass of wine or two. Just watching her, she was compelling.
Yeah.
It was fascinating, actually. I think I tweeted at the time. She has the awareness and easy confidence of a high-functioning psychopath. Quite charismatic, steely, and yet there was something slightly creepy about it. I mean, she showed warmth, but when she showed warmth, it was like she pressed the warm button.
But what's amazing is that she's been charged for something that she's alleged to have done at the height of this stuff last year, when the whole internet, everything, all the media was a buzz about it, and she was in the background apparently trying to get rid of evidence. Yeah,
and there have been allegations of a cover-up ever since the story really broke at the beginning of last year. So, and it's interesting that she hasn't been charged with attempting to corrupt policemen or anything like that, because it's quite clear that a lot of that kind of thing went on as well. So maybe there'll be some more charges to come. Maybe other people will be charged, but it's interesting that she's been charged with the cover-up rather than the actual crime, if it was a crime.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's good to watch. Really good to watch. The whole Leveson thing.
Well, check out the Media 7 show this Thursday evening, just after 9 o'clock.
Which
on
is
TV
about FYX and also about the Herald using other people's photos.
Excellent. All right, thanks very much.
Right,
Cheers. And publicaddress.net.